Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the qualifying watch-along for the 2025 Chinese Grand Prix. How are we all doing in chat this morning? 6:35 in the UK. What time is it where you are watching from? Early, late, whatever it is. I hope you've had a good day or going to have a good day and a great weekend so far. Did you catch the sprint this morning as well? Let me know what you think of that one. I actually think, as you know, not the biggest fan of sprints, but quite enjoyable, and it settles up quite nicely for the race. Looks like tyres are going to be a big factor tomorrow, which is kind of not a great surprise. It's Formula One. Tyres tend to be quite a big factor, but really do look like going to be a problem for a lot of teams tomorrow. So going to be an interesting one, that is for sure. Yeah. Very, 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 very much looking forward to this qualifying session. Looks quite open this weekend as well, a little bit more so than I thought. I thought McLaren were going to have this one in the bag, but yeah, no, it's looking close. Pascal, 6:34 in the UK. Yep. 7:34 in Germany. 12:05 in India. Apparently, says Sanjay. 11:35 in Phoenix. Fud needs coffee. Hey Jitsu, hope you're well. And hey Annette as well. It's 5:30 p.m. in Australia. That's almost perfect, Annette. That's kind of bang on, isn't it? You've still had your day and you've still got your evening to enjoy F1. I like that one. Might have to just 2 seconds actually make a little tweak to something because it's annoying me now. Didn't realise I'd done it. Shut that on the floor. Have the hoodie. I don't see why I had it the other way around, but there we go. Chuck my other one up there from last week. A bit warmer this morning in the UK. The sprint was not bad. Some good battles in the midfield, says Pascal. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we'll ever get an epic sprint, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was decent. We saw some good battling. Lawson did well to come through. Let's read through the result, actually. Obviously, spoilers, it's already on screen, but I'll warn you anyway as the F1 Academy race is finished. Lewis Hamilton did take his first win for Ferrari. It is a sprint win, so it doesn't count in the record books as a win-win, but it's still a race win, isn't it? So he'll be happy with that one. Great way to bounce back. Actually called out, but made a comment about his critics yapping after Australia, I think was a word he used. So big win for him. Can he make that the double this weekend? We'll soon find out. Rest of the weekend to come, of course. Oscar Piastri, second place, and he's 7 seconds behind Hamilton in the end. McLaren race pace didn't look great initially, but then it seems it sort of came to Piastri a bit, so maybe they'll be better on their tyres tomorrow. Max Verstappen third, with George Russell in fourth place and Charles Leclerc in fifth. Just 0.6 of a second behind Russell in the end, so that was a close battle as they went over the line. Sixth place for Tsunoda, who has had a really great start to this season. Latter stages of Australia last weekend aside, of course. Antonelli 7th, Lando Norris in 8th place, only just getting past Lance Stroll a few laps from the end, stuck behind him for much of it. Fernando Alonso in 10th place, Stroll obviously in 9th. Alex Albon 11th, Gasly 12th, Hadjar 13th, Lawson recovering to 14th, Bearman 15th, Ocon 16th, Sainz 17th, Bortoleto 18th, Hulkenberg 19th, and Doohan in 20th place. Doohan and one of the Saubers, I'm gonna guess at Hulkenberg. I can't remember now. Getting together right at the end, and that's why they're right down there. So that is being investigated, by the way, by the stewards. I don't know if they've actually made any decision on that just yet, so we'll keep an eye on that one. But yeah, pretty all right, that sprint. I enjoyed that. But this is where it really gets going for me. Qualifying, and then, of course, the race tomorrow. So hopefully it's going to be a good one for the rest of the weekend. You'll also notice today a few pictures in the slideshow while we're warming up for the qualifying session of Eddie Jordan, of course, the legend, passing away earlier this week. Going to be greatly missed from F1, no doubt about that whatsoever. And Eddie Jordan 191 with Michael Schumacher there will be the picture for this part as well. So yeah, Eddie Jordan going to be a big loss to the F1 paddock for sure. I've got a video, or I'm doing a video for next Thursday about some of his mad predictions. I thought that was a nice way to look back rather than just doing what a lot of people are going to do in tribute pieces. So that'll be out next Thursday, about 4 p.m. UK time. But yeah, we'll see how we go before we get to that. We've got a weekend of action. Eddie would want us to go racing, so they're going racing. The sprint gives us a good preview for the race. Hard to overtake and plenty of tyre decks. Says Fud. Yeah. It does give us a preview for the race, but it also now takes away from that first part of the race potentially, because we know now what's going to happen. The only difference is, somebody starts on a hard tyre tomorrow, they might be looking pretty good in the run up to those first pit stops because their tyres are going to last a bit longer. So a lot more fuel tomorrow as well, of course. Did Martin Brundle say 3 times as much fuel, something like that? So yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting, but obviously tyre pressures as well were increased by Pirelli coming into this one over concerns safety concerns and things like that. So a lot of variables this weekend, plus only one practice session. So it's going to be interesting. What time is Q1 this summer? About exactly 20 minutes from now. We'll be getting going with Q1. And then we'll find out who's going to get pole position. As always, the poll running 54% of you so far. I think Ferrari will take pole. 31% McLaren, 2% Mercedes, and 12% Red Bull. What is this to tell you about? What's it was a crash then, but it wasn't. It was some analysis by Sky. I wonder what happened there. But anyway, what can I say about F1? I haven't actually checked the news this morning, so I don't know if there's anything significant going on. But we know that there's some talk about the old V10s coming back sooner rather than later, which I suspect a large chunk of you are probably going to be quite happy to hear. But whether or not that happens, I'm very, very sceptical about it. Me being me, I'm very much like, that's a way to get the fans on side, isn't it? When you're upsetting everyone and getting booed at events. But I'm not convinced that's going to happen. But if it could happen, that'd be great. Probably 2029, 2030 would be the earliest. But let's wait and see what happens. I don't believe the rumours of getting rid of the 2026 regulations for next year and sticking with these for another couple of years. Although actually looking at the field convergence, I think that's the way we should go. But they won't do that. Not with the money invested. What do Audi do in that situation? For example, already got their power unit ready for or working on the power unit for next season. The new regulations, and you scrap them with 9 months to go. It's not going to happen. But we can hope. We can hope. 7:40 p.m. in New Zealand for rave. That's a good time actually as well. 2:37 in New York. Yeah, I was doing the timings for the preview and did Eastern time, and I was like, ooh, that's brutal. Do the US ever get good race times? I feel like I'm always told by you like they're dreadful. Even like Vegas is still bad for people on the East Coast in particular. So do you ever get good Miami? I suppose maybe COTA, but does seem to suck a little bit over there. Hey, Mike, I hope you're well. Having a good one so far. Pascal says Bortoleto and Doohan. It was Bortoleto, was it? Thank you, Pascal. I knew it was a Sauber. It was still early. I will be honest, I didn't get up for the sprint. I'll get up for a Grand Prix. I'll get up for qualifying. I'll just get up half an hour earlier before qualifying and watch the sprint before I go live. So it's all pretty fresh in my mind, but I still forgot. So there you go. Moray says, morning, Marta. Moray says, I'd assume at least 2 manufacturers would leave if they bring back V10s. I think they will at least need a hybrid element to keep Audi and Honda. I have quite a controversial take, or potentially controversial take on this one. And it's one that I know I share with one person at PF1. I think really the FIA, Formula One need to pick a rule set, put it to the teams, and if manufacturers decide they don't want to be part of it, tough. Off you go. See you later. In fact, I'm going to word it the way that I'm not going to name them. Not going to get them in trouble in their comment sections. But the comment was something along the lines of, and I tend to agree with or broadly agree with this, that if F1 wants to make the move back to V10s and they want to propose those regulations with the FIA to teams and manufacturers, if the manufacturers who don't want V10s have a strop and decide they want to leave, then they can go off to Formula E and feel good about themselves over there when nobody's watching, was the line. And I sort of went, yeah, I sort of get that one. Ferrari, they won't go anywhere. Mercedes, I think Toto Wolff has even said that they would be open to V10s, but not for 2026. So we still have Mercedes and Ferrari. I mean, Ferrari will never go anywhere, will they? They are F1, and F1 is Ferrari, really. Let's put it that way. So I'm just trying to think of another sport where teams get such a huge say in what regulations F1 goes with. I think the rules should be the rules and stick with them or do one, basically. So, but yeah, V10's running synthetic fuels is exactly what they want, Paradox. You're right, yeah. So synthetic and sustainable fuels, because I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, and we will talk about qualifying, maybe I'm wrong, but I kind of feel like the 2026 regulations with the power unit, F1 either doesn't want to go fully electric or can't because Formula E has some exclusivity. I don't know on that, where that contract's run out, but they either can't or don't want to go fully electric. They need to show some sort of progress. So we've kind of come to this really middle ground, this compromise almost in next year's power units. That's how it feels. And the fact that, and I said this in testing, the fact that we've got this brand new set of power unit regulations, but we're going to be down on power to the point where they've had to step in and make the aero find that speed. I think if you're trying to solve a problem before you've even got to, they just don't work for me, and I'm not looking forward to it. Well, apart from the fact it's Formula One and I'll always look forward to Formula One, I'm just not very keen on these regulations. And I hope, I always say this, I hope we get to next season I am proved completely wrong, because nothing will make me happier than a great season. So but I do, and it's not rose tinted spectacles, you know, it's none of that. It is just Formula One, as much as I love it, is always better with the scream of a V10. It's all part of it. It's all part of the show. So if F1 is about entertainment, which is where F1 are taking it, V10's all the way. And I don't want to hear road relevance, because really, try to think of the last time F1 where it really was road relevant. I'm pretty sure Mercedes could have stuck a hybrid engine in one of their road cars without having to do with Formula One, but there you go. Pro Street says Scooby-Doo and the gang need to investigate that second Red Bull. No, it's some ghost somewhere. Yeah, no, there's a real curse on that one, but I'm in a bit of one of those moods today, and I was last night as well. I'll tell you why. I was doom scrolling before we went live, so now I'm kind of like, screw you all. It's this desperation to write off Liam Lawson from some, not all, Sergio Perez fans really makes me laugh. Talking about a driver with, 12 race starts being done and not the answer, and Checo was the way to go, like their driver of 280 odd race starts or whatever it was hadn't been absolutely terrible for the best part of 2 years. Come on. Anything was an improvement. Anything was an improvement, or not an improvement, but worth the risk for Red Bull. So I just don't buy that. I know fan bases are weird, but I can't buy into that. Yes, he's had 12 races, but come on, that's a tough seat. That's a lot of drivers have failed in that seat alongside Max Verstappen. So who have gone on to do really well, by the way. Pierre Gasly, we were talking about this in Discord yesterday briefly, weren't we? Pierre Gasly, is it time that he got a second chance at a top team? Now, he's gone off and done a great job. Alex Albon's gone off and done a great job. So, yeah, I'm not going to rule out. I'm not going to write drivers off who have been in that second Red Bull, because being Max Verstappen's teammate is tough, and that car ain't great either. So, I guess there's some irony in this. I don't know, but I'm just not made for the internet. I think that's the problem. Certainly not some corners of social media, that's for sure. I don't get it, but yeah. Dude, they're in the same boat, but Lawson is unknown still. Don't like him, but I'm giving it until mid-season, says Marta. Yeah, they've not lost anything, have they, Marta? And I guess some might argue if they've not lost anything, what was the point? But they're paying a lot less for Liam Lawson, who has a much higher ceiling now because he's younger than Sergio Perez does. So it was worth the go. It was worth the go. I'll say it for the millionth time. Yuki, Tsunoda and Max Verstappen at Red Bull. Lawson and Hadjar at Racing Bulls was the way I would have gone, but that's why I'm not a team boss. So, because I make terrible decisions and poor predictions. So there you go. But it was worth it. And 2 races in, not even 2 races in, we'll see. If we're still having these same conversations at the mid-season point, like Marta said, it's a whole different situation, and then maybe you do make the switch. But we also have to remember that it's his first season in that car, his first time doing these races in Formula One. Yes, had 12 races, but they were all back end of the season. I'm not making excuses, but it's the same with Lewis Hamilton last weekend. First weekend in a Ferrari, tough conditions, unrepresentative track, and everyone's written him off already. So I just think, I know it's social media, I know negativity sells, but that's not who I am. I'll moan when I need to moan, which some of you will say is a lot, but I'm not going to start writing drivers off because of one weekend, whoever they are. It's just so stupid. But if that's you, you do you. Each to their own, all that business. Smaller chassis would help too. Is that for 2026 Paradox? I know we're going a little bit smaller next year, but it's not the exciting drop in size I think people want to see, but you're never going to get that with the safety regulations the way they are now. It does feel like a doom seat, the Red Bull, yeah, but also is that the Max Verstappen effect? I mean, how many times did he drag that car last year despite their struggles into a really strong position? Qatar, I think, shocked everyone with a win last year, didn't he? Nobody expected that from Red Bull, and he did it. So his pace fell off today when the tyres fell away, and maybe that's just where Red Bull are at the minute, but he still finished third. If he keeps picking up and I think this is the difference to last year, by the way. We're 10 minutes away from quality, but this is the difference to last year. Max Verstappen had a really dominant start to the season, won lots of races, I'm sure you remember, and that kind of that advantage allowed him to cling on to that title with the consistent scoring he did late in the season. Unless I'm forgetting something, there wasn't really anybody in the early races really consistently picking up points. If Max Verstappen can consistently be top 3, 4 in these early races, once Red Bull get that car sorted, if they do, and he starts winning, he could easily turn this season around. So that's the kind of driver he is. But yeah, long old way to go this season. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm hoping that this weekend looks completely different to last weekend in terms of the pecking order. I say completely. It's not completely, but you know what I mean. And then I hope when we get to Japan, it's different again, and then Miami, it's different again. Sorry, Bahrain and Saudi, different again. Then Miami, different again. That'd be amazing. That's what we want to see. So there you go. Yuki should have gotten that seat. The only reason he didn't is Honda politics. If not Yuki, then they should have had a Sainz when he was available. We seem to be on the outer edges of the Red Bull whirlpool, says Phil Reed. The crushing of driver development yet again. Do I need to repeat it? You probably know if you were here last year. You know what I'm going to say. Sainz was available for free. They didn't have to buy him out of a contract. Why they didn't go for him? And again, I know someone's going to say it. But Verstappen and Sainz Senior didn't get on. Well, tough. Grow up. It's not about you. It's about your sons. Let them go racing. So that was the lineup for me. If you're replacing Perez, next one Tsunoda, but they went with Lawson. So hopefully he is given the time. It sounds like he will be, but hopefully he's given the time to sort of prove he can do the job, basically, and then go from there. Has George Foreman passed away, Joseph? I didn't know that one. Missed out on socials this morning. Yeah, there you go. That's sad news. I don't know what to say now. I've just read that. Yeah, rest in peace, George Foreman. There you go. Irene says it's too early, guys. Yeah, I don't mind. This isn't too bad for me. I don't usually get up at this time, but Australia was not complaining. Americans and Australians who are going to scream at me now. We have to do this every weekend. But no, that was a bit too early for me, in the sense that by the time I'd finished streaming, got the short out on Sunday, I was asleep for the rest of the day. So this is all right. This is okay. I'm quite happy with this. And I will say it again, I'd always rather have an early race or a late race than one in the middle of the afternoon, because I'm weird like that. So to be fair to Lawson, he had a few good overtakes during the sprint, says Pascal. Yeah, I think they made the point on Sky that what he needed to do, or Martin Brundle did, he was doing what he needed to do in that race, that sprint race, showing he can come through to 14th place. Some good overtakes and maybe some a bit borderline, but go for it. Why not? Irene watched the race at 3 a.m. I honestly, Irene, I couldn't be bothered to get up at 3 a.m. To be fair, I usually don't go to sleep till about 2. I lay in bed watching Daggerwin play Farming Simulator, and then nod off to that, or put some old Family Guy on if I can't sleep. But it's usually 2 a.m. before I'm asleep every day. I'm getting like my dad. He won't be listening, so I can say it. He won't be up yet. He falls asleep in his chair downstairs, and that's where he stays until about 6 a.m. Falls asleep at 9 p.m. Gets about 6 out of his chair to go to bed. Gets up at 8 and then said he's had no sleep. You're like, well, you were asleep 9 till 6, Dad. It's it's fine, bless him. Stuck in his ways, but we love him. Why not? I do the same. Let's see if we get this timing up ready, because we are about to go qualifying. I don't know why I said qualifying. That makes no sense. And then we can get on with this one. Cannot wait for this session. I love my quali. Always do. Yeah. I was going to say something really interesting, and it's gone. I promise you, it would have blown your minds. I just tried to get everything synced up, but hopefully, I think is it 9,000 milliseconds to sync up to TV, or is it 9,500? We'll soon find out, Sean. You'll soon find out. But yes, I am very much ready for quali. I don't know who's going to take pole. Get your prediction in. Who's taking pole? We'll do the predictions now, then just before Q3. Let me know who you think is taking pole position, and we will. I'll read a few out. I'm gonna go with, what did I say on Thursday? I can't remember. A McLaren, I think. I'll go Piastri for his first proper, real actual genuine pole. That's what I'll go for pole. But that's, yeah, I like Oscar Piastri, so I'm always going to say that. There's some bias in there for sure, and I don't care. Matthew says Microsoft hits the wall during qualifying. I'm trying to think if it's something I've said that I've missed the point on there. I waffle. I fill whilst I'm getting the timing out. Sometimes I say things and then forget what I've said. And someone will put something in the chat and I'll go, did I say that? Have I said something about Microsoft that I've missed? Let's have a look. So Martinez says Leclerc. Annette says Oscar. Irene says Norris. Piastri and a McLaren 1-2 for FUD. Michael says Hamilton. Phil says, seeing the Toyota Gazoo racing stickers really brings hope of a big return of Kobayashi. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Bring it back for Japan. I'll say it now, well in advance. If you're new to the channel, just to let you know, the hairpin at Suzuka I call the Kobayashi hairpin, and always will. I'll never forget that race. Pascal Sauber Q2 and Hamilton pole. Andrew's gone with Lando. Pro Street says Piastri, Lewis and Max, with Max and Lewis possibly swapped. I'll go safe and say Norris is lap was good enough for pole until he bottled it. Dude has to pay, says Louis. Or Lewis. Oh, I was going to call you Steve, wasn't I? That was what I was going to call you. You two says Stroll. I like that one. And Second City Sports says Nico Hulkenberg. Nice. For Kick Sauber. Moray says Albon for pole. Could you imagine a Williams pole? That'd be great to see. That would be fantastic to see. So if there was some news, by the way, that I've missed that we could have talked about in that 25 minutes, then apologies. But, you know, I'll always, just a reminder on these watch-alongs, it's mates down the pub or in your living room watching it together. That's all this is. With a bit of Sean's terrible commentary as well. Why not? Anuran goes with Piastri, Lewis and Lando, by the way. And Fudd says, do you think anyone would have trimmed off some wing given how hard it was to overtake in the sprint, or put some on to try and save tyres in the race? I know in the sprint, Aston put more wing on Alonso and less on Stroll. So we might see some teams hedge their bets a little bit there. I think you want to look after your tyres, surely. So I would say that you're going to look at making sure your tyres can survive. So if that means putting on more wing to save tyres, then I think that's the way to go. That could be the key tomorrow, particularly in that battle towards the back end of points, 10th, 9th, 8th place around there. But yeah, super quickly, no on-track footage, obviously, for... copyright law. I ain't taking on FOM. I can't be bothered with that. So let's not even go down that road. And they take the channel down in seconds. So yeah, or you think they would? They don't seem to do it to everybody. Just every now and again, they'll do it to somebody. So yes, no footage, obviously. Lifetime provided by Multiviewer for F1. Thank you so much as always to those guys for letting us use the live timing on these streams. Love the visuals. Great data as well. Links in the description if you want to go and check out Multiviewer for F1. It is free to use, but you do need some sort of F1 TV subscription, including, if you want to, the cheapest one, which in the UK here is F1 TV Access, and it's £2.29 a month. So if you can afford that, definitely go for it. Well worth it. Certainly enhances the viewing experience, I think. I love having lots of data open. So there we go. Check those guys out, and thank you once again. Not sponsored, but I think they deserve a shout out given they are letting us use this great stuff. So here we go. Quali is about to get going. We're a couple of minutes away now. Anybody line up at the end of the pit lane? Track map seems to show a few, but they might just be getting synced up. Also, just a reminder, last week we had the issues with the timing because F1 was still faffing on their end, despite having all winter and testing to sort out the kinks, or iron out the kinks. So hopefully no problems today, because I noticed it was yesterday sprint quali, they were kind of playing up as well a little bit, and it's sort of all the times you need those lap times and all that data, it's quali. So yeah, hopefully all goes well, but if it does go down, there's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. Please do leave a like on the stream as well, and subscribe if you're new. Lots to come this weekend. Live for the race tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. GMT. And then, of course, we'll have a short out after that. Just to let you know as well, super quick, while I wait for this to get going, I'm having 3 days of annual leave next week. I get annual leave these days. That's scary. So Elizabeth is going to be tackling the Monday video for you and the Tuesday short, and I'll be back with a video on Thursday. So when Elizabeth comes in with that Monday video on Monday, I'm going to say it now because I always get it. I'm not going anywhere. I've not gone anywhere. I'm just having some annual leave because it's my birthday on Monday, and we're going to do something Monday. My mum's going to take me out on Tuesday, so there you go. That's nice, isn't it? I'm going to go outside. Scary. Anyway, I don't know why I did that. Let's get going then with quali. It is green light. Here we go. Lance Stroll is first out there on track for Aston Martin, followed by Nico Hulkenberg and co. Lots of cars queued in the pit lane ready to go with this one. Forecast, by the way, for weather at the moment, 26.1 degrees air temperature, 40.1 degrees track temperature, and no rain. And just to let you know as well, sort of talking about tyres, the temperatures tomorrow are supposed to be higher still than they are right now. So I'll say that. I mean, 26.1 is what we have at the minute, but actually I think 26 on Wednesday was a forecast for Sunday, so I assume that's got a bit hotter now. More hotter is what I was going to say there, which didn't work. But yeah, no. So we are going to be warm again tomorrow, which could be pretty big for strategy. I think we're in for a bit of a crazy weekend, hopefully. Don says, okay, have fun. I'm switching to Sky. Cheers for now. Thank you, Don. I hope you're well, mate. Manifesting a Bortoleto Q3, says Moray. Thank you, Fud, for the birthday wishes for Monday. Still in my 30s, but one more year. God. Moray says, to be fair, credit to F1 for keeping F1 TV at $2.29 a month. It's really good for what you get. I agree. The archive is worth it alone, I think. So, Quang says Sainz for pole. Captain Reg says McLaren for pole as well. So there we go. I think the archive's pretty good on F1 TV alone, let alone the extras you get. Lawson coming out the pit lane here. So I think first to do lap will be Lance Stroll, won't it? He's already coming around turn 14, now. Going to get that wrong all weekend, aren't I? And into the final corner as we've still got Norris, Leclerc, Hamilton, the sprint winner, of course, and Piastri exiting the pit lane. Ready to go. Yeah, better than the GP prices, yeah. Yes. Michael says, welcome to your first year of 39. Somebody said that to me the other day, actually. You'll be 39 for a few years yet. It's funny, though. Biologically, I guess, 39 on Monday. Physically, 52. Mentally, 14. It's weird. Anyway, don't know how that works and if that goes away with age. Everybody out on track at the moment, as you'd expect in quality, but that track looks particularly busy out there on the driver tracker. So good stuff. Hopefully getting out of Stroll's way. Where is Lance Stroll? He's coming through now. Those twisty left-handers at 9 and 10. Sainz is starting a lap as well. Keep an eye on him, but we'll hopefully get the lap times in. I do wish they'd follow the first person to do the lap in qualifying, given we're here for the time lapse and they're already on their way round, but there you go. I'm not even looking at that. I'm ignoring that, Moray. I'm not even gonna read it. You know what you said. I'm not reading it. So Hulkenberg as well out there. Well, everybody's out there, but it should be Stroll, Hulkenberg, and Bortoleto with the first 3 laps on the board. 24.4 for Stroll. For Alonso, but 24.6 for Stroll in the first sector. And Stroll's going to come around the final corner now. And over the line goes Lance Stroll with a 1:33.024. We are going to see that lap time come down quite significantly by the end of today, for sure. In fact, it's come down significantly already as Hulkenberg does a 1:32.677. Bortoleto second, 2.5 tenths of his teammate. So getting the laps on the board nice and early here. What can Sainz do? He's got to the hairpin, watching him on TV. For some reason, no idea what tyres Verstappen's on. I'll keep an eye on the TV. In fact, is Verstappen on track? He's not. I thought everyone was out there. He's not. Max Verstappen is not on track. Maybe waiting for conditions to improve, unless I've missed something. Let me know in chat. But yeah, we've got a yellow. Doohan is off and has spun at turn 10. He's got going again as Norris goes purple in the first sector. We'll see what happens to Doohan. Doohan's been a bit... and also, he pulled over in practice, didn't he, with a mechanical problem. Then had contact, 2 lots of contact in the sprint this morning. And has had a spin there at turn 10 in quali. All good, though. Still going. Might need to change his tyres. Captain Regs is excited with the Sauber 1-2. There is Ocon. Ruins your day, Captain Regs, with a 1:32.3. Goes fastest. Bearman 32.7. Gasly goes quicker down to 32.310, so 600ths quicker than Esteban Ocon. Verstappen still in the pit lane. No, he's out of track now. He's moving now. There we go. Just got going. Hamilton, purple in the middle sector, half a second quicker than Pierre. Gasly. Norris is about to post what I assume is going to be the fastest time here. Personal best, obviously, because he's his first laps. So 32.3 to beat. Over the line he will go on a 32.0. That's going to come down a lot more than that, I would imagine. Purple final sector, though. Doohan gets dropped before the summer break. Nothing against it, but Alpine is a mess, says Second City Sports. I'll be honest with you, Second City, I would be surprised if he makes it to summer break. No, again, like you, no shade on Doohan there, but I just think that's the way it's going to end up with that team. Hamilton goes quickest, by the way, 4 tenths quicker nearly than Lando Norris. But Piastri's beat him there and goes up into P1, 31.5 provisional, well, not pole, but provisional P1 for Q1. Long old way to go. What's Doohan done? So he comes through turn 9 and then, just loses the back end as he gets on the throttle. And then he's off track at 10 and gets it going again. Frustrating for Doohan, but I'm sure he'll get his lap time. And he has pitted, by the way, has Jack Doohan. So... although the thing isn't updated with who's in the pits for some reason for me, but I'm sure it'll sort itself out. Moray says this genuinely might be Doohan's last race. I don't know. I'm not going to try and read Alpine as a team. As Norris drops to 12th, is that a lap time deleted for Norris? It was lap time deleted for track limits at turn 9 on his third lap. Which was a 1:32.0. So he has yet to get a time on the board. As over the line goes Verstappen to start a lap. Lawson's in the pit lane. Interestingly enough, he hasn't got a time on the board either. So 24.5, 28.0 were his two competitive sector times. Lap time deleted for Norris. That's confirmed. There we go. Max Verstappen and 24.1 in the first sector is to beat for him on Piastri. What's he going to do? 800ths down. So Verstappen might be in the mix here, but very early days in quali. Norris is at lap times. What a classic combo, says Fudd. Watching from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Hey, Don. Hope you're well. I think I said hey earlier, but I'll say it again. There you go, because he's back. They say I still look 25, but don't feel like it says Pro Street. At least, at least you look 25. There you go. That's a win. That's a win as far as I'm concerned. Verstappen, a 10.5 down in the middle sector on Piastri on his first run. Lawson back out on track, so no issues there, I assume. Just not happy with his sector times. Did he go and use tyres maybe early doors? Because Verstappen, Tsunoda, Norris, Leclerc, Antonelli, Russell, Hamilton and Piastri all on used tyres. We might see a bit of that early doors because they've used quite a lot of tyres this weekend already, haven't they? One less sets? Or 2 less sets? 2 fewer. I think it's 11, isn't it? I can't remember now. Verstappen goes fastest, 31.4. Really good final sector there from Max, actually. 3 tenths quicker than Oscar Piastri, 4 tenths quicker than Hamilton, and 6 tenths quicker than Russell. So a really good final sector there. So maybe that's where Red Bull have got their pace. Antonelli, watching a replay now. Wide at the final corner, kicks up a bit of gravel, back end out. That's going to look great off board, isn't it? Yes, it does. Big kick up of gravel as well at a slide, but he's okay. Keeps it going. He's actually 5th at the minute, 1:32.2, 2 tenths slower than his teammate. And Norris's lap time, that looked close on board. You can't always tell on board, so I'll wait and see if we get an off board of that one, but it doesn't really matter. He'll get a lap time in, I'm sure. Cut to 9 minutes time when he doesn't, and Sean looks a fool again. Do you watch Aidan Millward's content at all? Just wondering if my 2 favourite YouTubers watch each other. I haven't for a while, but I did used to. As Hadjar goes 4th, by the way, on a 31.8. I did used to, but I don't watch a lot of F1 YouTube these days because obviously a bit busy with this one, but when I get to it, when I get the chance to, I do. That's the kind of content I enjoy, and that's the kind of content I try to do a bit more of myself. Not as well as he does, maybe, I don't know, but yeah. So I do. Not as much as I'd like to. I don't get really. As Tsunoda goes fourth, Racing Bull's looking good here at the moment. Tsunoda on used tyres as well, apparently, according to that graphic. Interestingly, yeah, most of the YouTube I watch now is non-F1 stuff, but yeah. Exactly, Moray says, I guess when you work in F1 YouTube, the last thing you want to watch is F1 YouTube. Yeah. It's got to really grab my attention if I'm going to watch it. Not clickbait, obviously. Alex Alba's 6th place. Is this just track evolution? Because we've got some good times coming in here from sort of midfield teams. As Lawson cross line and only goes 15th on a 32.4 on a nice fresh set of soft tyres. So he's going to have to go again with 7.5 minutes to go. No choice whatsoever, though. He's going to easily get knocked out once Norris gets a lap time in. Leclerc's down in 19th, though. I mean, a struggle here. Antonelli, Gasly moves up to sights and Antonelli dropped down. Gasly up into 11th place. Hulkenberg over the line for P7. Calm down, Pascal. It's only Q1. 7th and 10th at the moment for the Saubers. So good luck there from Nico Hulkenberg. I did predict Bortoleto as a bold prediction to out-qualify Hulkenberg again. We'll see if that works out. It might be a big ask. What a weekend, though, for what a qualifying session, sorry, for Bortoleto last weekend. Shame it ended with the crash. With that suspension failure, but... yeah, great weekend. I don't think anybody expects him to get in there and just beat Hulkenberg in the first qualifying session. Hey, Max, I'm good, thank you, mate. Hope you are too. You've not missed much. We're still in Q1. But yeah, we're going to see what we get here because I'm waiting for these runs now. But Bearman, what's he going to do? Goes 7th, does Ollie Bearman. Good lap, that one, on a 32 flat. Marginally quicker than Hulkenberg. So good lap, that one. From Bearman. Norris needs his lap. He's yet to get it in, but goes purple in the first sector, 24 flat, 2.5 tenths quicker than Max Verstappen. So Lando Norris already getting his sector. Why is Leclerc struggling so much? Sorry. 2 yellow sectors. He's down in 19th place. He's on a fresh set of soft tyres. Maybe we'll catch a replay in a bit. I don't know, but that's a bit concerning for Leclerc. His teammates will be in 3rd place at the moment. Norris into the 2nd sector, 300ths down on Verstappen, so it's a little bit closer, but still had a couple of tenths up on him anyway. So Antonelli improving. He's in 16th at the moment. Leclerc, what's he going to do? Over the line comes Leclerc. Only 10th place. 32.0. I think he's going to need to go again. Incident involving Liam Lawson, by the way, failing to slow under yellow flags. That tends to be quite a hefty penalty, doesn't it, if he's found guilty of that one, as Norris goes into 6th place. So tyres not hanging on for the lap here. Am I analysing that wrong? I don't know, but Norris, as Antonelli goes 3rd, Norris purple in the first sector, personal best in the middle, but slower than Verstappen by a couple of tenths, actually, in the end. And then in the final sector, well off the pace. Nearly, half a second off the pace. So, let's see. Goes into the hairpin at 6. A little bit wide, but nothing too dramatic there. Maybe tyres not hanging on towards the end there. Interesting. Oh, a bit of a twitch out the final corner as well. But that's not going to cost him half a second. So, yeah. We're watching Lawson here. Failing to slow under yellows. This might be the... no. Oh, big slide there. Snap at turn 1 and 2. Love those first sequence of corners in Shanghai, by the way. Really love turns 1, 2 and 3. Very unique. And really tricky as well. Oh, no. They've reviewed it. No further investigation on Lawson. So there we go. He obviously did slow enough. Ocon, Gasly, Sainz, Lawson and Doohan, by the way, in the drop zone. Liam needs a lap quickly. Andrew says, what's going on with Leclerc? I can't work it out, Andrew. I was looking at that a moment ago. Wasn't really improving, but he's on fresh tyres. So he's going to need to Apparently Hamilton 4/10 quicker than Leclerc in low-speed corners according to the graphic, but there's quite a gap between them. Hamilton 4th, Leclerc 13th. So has Charles got time for another set of tyres? 3 minutes and 20. Probably not. He's going to have to just go for it again. Ted reckons that he might sneak through at that, but I'm not convinced. Ocon, you got Bearman in night, so Ocon could improve quite substantially. Gasly possibly as well. Who knows what Sainz can do. Lawson, if he hooks it up, should be up there as well. So I'm not convinced that's too safe for Leclerc there. And lots of cars in the pit lanes are fresh tyres. So this is going to get a bit chaotic in the last 2 minutes and 50 seconds. We hit that now. Intrigued by this now. Very intrigued. I wonder what's happening to Leclerc. The yellows were clear before Lawson reached, and the only driver who went through the yellow zone was Antonelli, who wasn't on a lap. Thank you, Fudd. That's good info there. Did Ferrari change the car to such a degree that Leclerc can't drive it? What is happening to the Quali King? Says Jesus Christ. Good to see you again, Jesus. I would be surprised if they changed it too much. Hamilton's always gone well in Shanghai, so there'll be an element of that, but scruffy laps maybe. I don't know. The tyres are definitely not... Based on Lando Norris's lap, the tyres are definitely not hanging on towards the end of the lap. So this is one of those balancing it through the full lap, which would be interesting. I guess as a driver, you get out of the pits on your first flying lap. You want to use all that rubber as soon as possible, don't you? I bet it feels so good. But yeah, no. Bit concerned for Leclerc there, 13th. I'm not sure. Definitely he is going again. But he seems to be doing a couple of cooldowns, actually. So he's going to be absolutely flying, hopefully, in a minute. And we'll be fastest, and we all can stop worrying about Charles Leclerc and Ferrari. Never stop worrying about Ferrari. Oh, dear. Always worry about Ferrari. Always worry about Ferrari. Right, then. Here we go. Coming towards the final minute now. Final laps on the board for everybody. It's now or never. If you're Ocon, Gasly, Sainz, Lawson and Doohan, Russell on the radio. We do need this next lap, he's been told. And Russell is 10th. So, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 30. There's only 2 tenths, actually, between Bearman in 9th and Ocon in 16th. That is how close we are this weekend and this season so far. So, I still think McLaren seems to have the car at the moment. Overall, but it's not happening this weekend at the moment, is it? At the moment. I said at the moment. Q McLaren 1-2. Final 30 seconds. Laps are going in there now. What is who watching here? Watching Alonso. 51.7 in the middle of sector 4. Verstappen is trying to beat here. Through he goes. Only 900ths down, Alonso, but it's not a great... It's not a personal best middle sector, so but a personal best first sector. So Leclerc is improving in the first sector. Green through there. Watch him in the picture here. Projected knockout time is a 31.8, so that takes you all the way up until Isaac Hadjar in 6th place. So Stroll goes 7th on a 31.9. That could help Hadjar out there. Checkered flag is out for Q1. We've still got 2 sessions to go. Hulkenberg goes 7th. In the Sauber, 31.9 for him. So Hadjar might be okay there, actually. Bearman was the first car to take the line. Leclerc is improving again, so he might be okay here. We'll soon find out. Alonso jumps up into 6th place for Aston Martin on a 31.7. Everybody pretty much improving out there. Bortoleto, personal best first and final sectors. He goes 15th. Charles Leclerc in 14th, jumps up to 2nd place on a 31.579. I did a little fist bump there out of shot. Tsunoda goes fastest on a 31.238. Yuki Tsunoda absolutely flying. George Russell goes 2nd, a 31.2. Still slower than Tsunoda. Over the line next will be Carlos Sainz, who's trying to beat a 32.1 set by Bortoleto. Hadjar goes fastest on a 1:31.1 in Q1. Norris now goes quickest on a 1:30.9. What is Carlos Sainz going to do through the final corner? And over the line for Carlos Sainz is P8 at a 1:31.6 to 3. And Albon actually goes up to 6th place now as well. It's all chopping and changing. Hulkenberg, don't forget, I thought was going to get through in 7th place. Gasly goes 15th. Bearman and Stroll are noted for impeding. Keep an eye on that one. Lawson over the line, only 18th place. He drops to 19th, though, because Doohan goes 17th. And Ocon sneaks through into 13th place at the expense of Pierre Gasly. And that, I believe, is that. So we have lost Pierre Gasly right at the death there. Ollie Bearman, Jack Doohan, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Liam Lawson, who finished 20th place in that Red Bull. Oh dear. Oh dear. Lawson not just out, Max, last. Well, if that's the incident the stewards are investigating of Stroll and Bearman, Bearman will surely be penalised for that. Stroll coming off turn 13 had to duck out the way of Bearman, who was sort of plodding along on the racing line. That'll be a penalty, I'd have thought, for Bearman, unless they're both on hot laps. Even then, we'll see. But yeah, Racing Bulls 2 and 3. Norris fastest in that session. Leclerc ended up 7th, Hamilton 11th at one point in that session. We were all concerned it was going to get knocked out. Charles Leclerc, and there he is up his 7th place. Stroll snuck through. Bearman's already out, by the way, so it doesn't affect the order if he does get done for impeding. But yeah, the big story there, really. Actually, Gasly and Doohan for Alpine, given how good they looked at times last time out, down in 16th and 18th, is a bit surprising. But Liam Lawson, last place, which I'm sure will please the Checo fans, like he wasn't getting knocked out in Q1 all the time. It's the hypocrisy I can't stand. The double standards. But anyway, yeah, not good for Lawson. Hopefully he can do what he did in the sprint, but a bit more, but get through the field a bit more quickly and maybe a bit higher up with a full race. But yeah, that's really disappointing for him. Very close, by the way, between the 15th and the 16th place time. Stroll did a 1:31.923. Gasly a 1:31.992. So next to nothing between them in that battle for sneaking through. And actually, to be fair, Bearman and Doohan 32 flats. So very close for those in the end. But it was a Stroll who snuck through. Hulkenberg at 14th. So we have got a Sauber in Q2 for the second weekend in a row. Just a different one. So Addy Boy says Checo being 0.6 was too slow. Lawson goes a full second. Yeah, but Lawson's had 12 races. Checo had 200 and whatever it was, 83, I think I said yesterday. I might be wrong. Usual warnings as well for drivers, or at least possible investigations for maximum delta time, but that never tends to come to anything. So, Tsunoda, Piastri, Russell, Hadjar, Norris, Sainz, Albon, Antonelli. There was another one in there. Lawson, Albon, Antonelli, yeah. They'll not do anything. Lots of yellow flags at the minute. I see sweeping up some gravel or debris, or just, I don't know. All the timing screens just go bonkers. Who knows? But yeah, we're not going to get back into it. I'm just going to say it again. The answer was obvious last year. They chose to go with Lawson. I think him and Hadjar Racing Bulls is a way to go, but there we go. But you will never convince me. Possibly one of the biggest Checo defenders, by the way. You'll never convince me that Checo should still be in that car, regardless of what Lawson does. That change needed to happen. They just may have got it wrong, but we'll find out. We're still 2 races into this season, 22 to go after this weekend. Long old way to go. Let's not start panicking too much if you're a Lawson fan, or tearing him down if you're one of those. But yeah, disappointing. Shouldn't be last in a Red Bull, whoever you are, frankly, but he is. So there you go. Tsunoda to Red Bull says, Quang, look at those 2 RBs flying. Genuinely, what a terrible car Red Bull made. Says Uday. It is quite surprising to see, watching a replay here at something. Oh, it was really slow, but that's because they're... now, Lawson's saying his lap was compromised because Gasly's gone diving past him into the final corner. Or before the final corner, to be fair, as they prepared. So that's the old gentleman's agreement, which doesn't exist. It's Formula One, it's racing, get on with it. But yeah. 1990s says, hello, first time viewer. How is everyone? Nice to see you. Hope you're well. I'm good. Relieved that Leclerc got it together and that both Ferraris are through. And really excited to see what Racing Bulls have got for the rest of this session. But second and third, welcome. Hope you're well. Can I just say, how much does first Ferrari win being in a sprint race at 3:30 a.m. when half the world isn't watching? Isn't exactly what we all dreamed of, says Max. No, but it's very F1, isn't it? To spend the whole winter hyping it up and, could he win a race this year? And then he does it in a sprint when it's stupid o'clock in the morning. Very true. It's nice to see so many Lando fans in the grandstands. Just look at all those number 4s, says Fudd. Yeah. Another nod to Eddie Jordan on the official F1 feed there. Gave Michael Schumacher his debut in 1991, of course. Not a particularly successful debut. Enough to make a name for himself. But he had a mechanical failure, didn't he, very early on in that race in Belgium when he made his debut for Jordan. But he did it. He still raised a few eyebrows when he turned up. Back on the squash today. I know, very exciting. Vodka tomorrow morning. I can't drink vodka, it's disgusting. Also, I realise you didn't ask. I'm telling you anyway. There you go. 730 of you here. Please do drop a like on the stream. 58 likes. Let's see if we get over 100. That'd be amazing. And subscribe if you're new as well. We're live for the race tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. UK time. There'll be a short out, assuming something happens that's worth covering in a short, of course. After that, my first attempt properly at one of those last week, and it was good fun to do, actually. So, hell, we had a chaotic race. Elizabeth will be with you on Monday for a post-weekend video, because I'm going to be taking a few days off for the old birthday. Old being the operative word. And yeah, I'll be back on Thursday with some video content as well on Eddie Jordan. So there we go. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. Here we go. We are go for Q2, by the way. Nearly a minute in already. Ocon, Antonelli, Russell, Sainz out on track. A queue in the pit lane, as you'd expect. We like to see that one. Don says, I met Eddie J at Indy 2005 as Sir Frank's guest in Quali. That's awesome, Don. Very cool. Eddie Jordan, very much going to be missed, for sure, in Formula One. Quite a character. Proper. Jordan were a proper underdog team. And let's not forget, Frentzen kept himself in a title hunt in 1999 until Malaysia. That DNF at the Nürburgring on pit exit is still kind of devastating when you think back. If he'd have won that race, oh, what could Jordan have done? The results weren't great in the final 2 races, to be fair, so maybe nothing, but, great season, 99 for Jordan. And they never really got back to that, did they? So, but yeah, Eddie will be greatly missed for sure. Was weird very quickly on Thursday when it was announced that he passed away, and then a couple of hours later, the Formula for Success podcast was out, and he was on it, and it was kind of like, that's weird. I know obviously it's pre-recorded, obviously, but it was still weird. But good to hear him at one last time on there. So. Right then, where are we? Everyone pretty much out on track except for Nico Hulkenberg, who's in 15th at the moment and still in the pit lane. Is it pit exit? There looks to be a Sauber down there, but that might just be the Bortoleto in the garage. Albon getting out of Ocon's way into turn 1. Here goes Kimi Antonelli then in the Mercedes, which is looking good again this weekend. Actually, slightly more competitive start to the season for Mercedes than I was expecting, actually. Based on what Toto Wolff was saying over the winter. So maybe not fibs, but maybe playing themselves down a little bit. But yeah, not bad. Not spectacular. They're not locking out front rows like they were a few years ago, but they're still looking better than I expected coming into this season. A long old way to go, as I keep saying. Russell's gone purple in the first sector. Antonelli, they kind of matched each other, really. Not much in it. 0.07 of a second. So it is close between the Mercedes pair. Russell will be after Antonelli with the lap time. Hadjar, who was second and Tsunoda third in Q1. Big surprise there for Racing Bulls. They've got a decent car, and the car looks great as well. I mean, that livery is fantastic as Russell goes purple in the middle sector. A little bit quicker than his teammate this time. Well, 2/10 actually, that's a lie. Norris has gone top of the timesheets as he gets his sector times in. Bit of traffic there, bit of chaos towards the back by the look of it. All good though, I'm sure. Is it Antonelli first to do a lap, or is it Ocon going to be first to do a lap? I've got Ocon in my head here. Over the line goes Ocon for 31.795 for him. Here comes Kimi Antonelli. Over the line he goes with a 1:31.590. Leclerc is starting a lap. Russell's going to beat both those with a 31.307. Albon will cross the line next to start his lap, and then Sainz is going to complete his lap on a 31.966. Max Verstappen starting his lap now. Hulkenberg just coming through to kick his off. Is Hadjar on a flying lap? He is indeed. What's he going to do over the line? Only fourth for now on a 31.832. Should point out, Russell, Antonelli, Leclerc and Hamilton all on used tyres of Stroll. Does a 1:31.7 to go up into third place. Yuki Tsunoda will be next to do a lap quicker than his teammate in the first sector, and substantially actually in the second sector, 0.4 of a second. Tsunoda goes second on a 31.425. There you go. Norris is flying, purple and purple. Piastri goes fastest for now, 31.2. That's about to be beaten, I suspect, by Lando Norris. Alonso goes 8th. 31.8. Here comes Norris at the final corner now. 30.7, 0.4 quicker than his teammate, both on a fresh set of tyres as well. So that's a very quick lap there from Lando Norris. Lewis Hamilton at the final corner, sprint winner this morning, goes into 6th place. Used tyres, it should be said. Same with Antonelli and Russell and Leclerc as well. So there we go. They're your first runs, although almost first. Well, let's see the last few through. That's what I was trying to say. Leclerc goes 7th on a 31.6, so pretty much matching his teammate there. So there we go. Albon splits them though on a 30. How did he squeeze in there? There's nothing between the Ferraris, and Albon still finds a gap. And Verstappen goes third on a 31.234. So just Nico Hulkenberg to get his lap in. That's the first run's done. And Hulkenberg goes 10th on a 31.7. So now we are heading back to the pits with 8 minutes to go, ready for the next lot of runs. So everyone with a lap time on the board. Norris fastest, Piastri second, Verstappen in third. Lawson is chatting to Sky. Just say it's really tough, the feeling in the car. I'm trying to listen to Lawson and still make this interesting. What I like about Lawson is he's just stood there now talking about, you know, the car doesn't feel great, but that's not an excuse. He needs to get a handle on it. You've got to give him credit for that. At least he's not standing there making some lame excuse or, you know, oh no, I just had a bad day, I'll get there. At least he's saying, this is me, this is on me. Car doesn't feel great, but I need to get a handle on it. You know, you got to give him credit for that. So many drivers will come out and be like, oh, well, my left front looked at me really weirdly, and that's why I didn't get my lap in. So no one's ever said that, by the way. I just made that up, but there you go. Okay. I am listening to him, sorry. Saying it, sort of when asked, I think the question was, from what I caught there, you know, what do you need to do? And he said, honestly, it's just time, but I don't really have time. So, and I guess that's the problem, isn't it, with this second Red Bull seat? Whoever you put in there, the pressure's on immediately because Max Verstappen's your teammate, and then you've got to try and get up to speed in it. But the races come thick and fast. You haven't got the time really. So, he just needs to get his practice laps in. Full weekend for Japan, of course. 3 full practice sessions. So, although, right, ignore me. Okay, if you want to. And I'm not suggesting this will happen, by the way. I'm just saying, if Red Bull want to be really popular in Japan, there is something they could do. That's all I'm saying. I'm not suggesting it will happen. I'm just saying, all right? If they really want to be really popular in Suzuka, there's one thing they could do. But let's not be writing Lawson off after 2 weekends in that bloody car, when you look at drivers like Checo, who failed pretty miserably in the end. So there we go. And I'm not going to read out messages that are just dragging drivers. That's a fucking phrase I hate, because it's just, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm just not going to do it. Kind of noticed that Yuki had an earlier similar to Oscar up to his S3 2/10. Maybe RB's focus for the corners, unlike yesterweek. I don't know though. Says Kuro Boshi. So yeah, I mean the Racing Bulls, I can't remember what the times were, but they are not in, I wouldn't say in the mix for pole, but they're in the mix for a really great result here. And maybe they have put that focus on corner. We talked about at the start, actually, do you put a bit more downforce on to look after these tyres, or do you go for it for more straight line speed? I think a lot of people, based on what happened in the sprint this morning, will go with a bit more wing, so maybe they are better in the corners. Maybe, but then a lot of Sector 3 is that long straight, isn't it? Although you've got the twisty hairpin, tricky final corner, that weird 11-12 sequence. Yeah. Best interview question to ask Liam: can you relate with what Perez went through now? Doubt any reporters have the balls to ask that though. Yeah, but to be fair, Addy boy, what's the point in that? What's Lawson going to say? I'll say it again. How many race starts did Checo have? How much more experience was he? And he was also pretty diabolical in that car. So I'm not saying it's the car. I'm just saying it's a bit of a poison chalice, isn't it? That second Red Bull. So the drivers we've seen fail, that have, if you weren't here earlier, Andy boy, you know, Gasly, Albon, who have both gone on to do really well at other teams. In fact, Gasly pretty much dropped back into Toro Rosso and was wiping the floor with Daniel Kvyat, wasn't he? So going back, how long ago was that? 2019. God, is it really that long ago? Don says, Sean, can I contact you on social media? I mean, you can, but I don't really use social media, to be honest with you. It's not outside of YouTube. I don't really find it a pleasant place to be. But there should be an email address somewhere on the channel if you wanted to get in touch that way. That's I'm sure it's on the About page. I'm sure it is. But yeah. I just have to make sure I check my junk folder just in case it ends up in there. Not that I was saying that what you would say would be junked on, but I've got quite high spam filters on because, oh my God, do I get some bollocks. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, 3 minutes to go. Cars back out on track. We're ready to go for the final runs of qualifying here. Drop zone are Stroll, Ocon, Hadjar, Alonso, Sainz. Surprising Hadjar's down there, actually, but we'll see if he can get a decent lap in. Everybody except Piastri, if that's correct, on brand new tyres. So yeah. And Paradox says Yuki might do bad in the Red Bull car as well. That's it, isn't it? I'm just trying to think of an example from back in there. Michael Schumacher's a cracking example. At Benetton, at Ferrari, you know, winning championships, dominating seasons. Teammates often, I mean, Jos Verstappen was pretty disappointing, wasn't he, against Michael Schumacher? Johnny Herbert was hardly sensational, so it happens sometimes. But magic is stuck, says Antonelli. That'll be the brake magic, of course. I assume. That's unless they've got a new magic. Maybe. I don't know. I assume brake magic. Martin Brothers said on commentary I was thinking there about Baku. Over the line goes Antonelli. Russell. 131.3, fourth at the moment. Hamilton purple in the middle sector, but still 3.5 tenths down on Lando Norris. So that is a really good middle sector from Hamilton, but still Norris clearly much quicker out there. I thought something fell over there behind me. It didn't by the look of it. That's fine. I heard a bang. It concerned me. one of those bookcases comes down, I'm done. Simple as. And I built them, so, let's see. It's very possible. Very possible. Here we go then. Final laps, minute to go. Lewis Hamilton through the final corner, kicking up some dust on the exit. Does a 1:31.5, only 6th. Despite that, again, look, purple middle sector, 27.2. Yellow in the final sector, not even a personal best. 4/10 down, so that the tyre's not hanging on here as well as maybe drivers would want. Over the line goes Leclerc, only 6th for him. 31.450. Keeping an eye on Hadjar here. The pace is in that Racing Bulls. If they want to use it, I'm sure they do. Here goes Ocon into 10th place. Struggles to hang on to that, isn't he? Realistically here, you never know, I suppose. But and there you go, straight out as Hadjar goes 4th fastest on a 31.253, a 10th of a second off Verstappen in second. That Racing Bull, or those Racing Bulls, are quick. Tsunoda goes 5th on a 31.2, just behind his teammate. Checkered flag is out for Q2. Still one more to go, of course, to set pole position. Ocon, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Alonso, and Sainz in the bottom 5 as things stand. Sainz on the bubble here. Sainz needs a lap to get himself through. It's Albon on the bubble, not Sainz, the other Williams. So Antonelli only 9th, 31.5, didn't improve. Certainly not by enough anyway. Alonso over the line for him. What's he going to do? Only 13th on a 31.688. Here comes Carlos Sainz. Is he going to get through? No, only 15th for Sainz. Where's the Sainz-Williams pace gone? And I tell you what as well. I said it at the start of this. Ocon will struggle to hang on to 10th place. He wasn't far off, 300ths of a second and 11th place, but Ocon is knocked out. Hulkenberg is gone as well. Alonso, Stroll and Sainz. No massive surprises in there, I don't think, except maybe Hulkenberg P12. That's a really good qualifying session for him. Antonelli said brake magic stuck on. Is that why he had the problems at turn 1 and 2 there? But again, story of the day, or story of that session again, Racing Bulls, 4th and 5th. There you go. But real lack of pace from Ferrari. Albon sneaking through. And Verstappen splitting the McLarens. Interesting. Very interesting. But yes, just to confirm, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Alonso, Stroll and Sainz all out. But yeah, Racing Bulls looking quick. Alonso doesn't. I didn't quite catch what he said in the radio there. Let me know in chat if you caught it, but he doesn't sound particularly happy at the moment. A year of hanging on, I think, for Fernando Alonso. Bruss says Verstappen to Racing Bulls. There you go. That's your twist for Japan, isn't it? Verstappen to Racing Bulls. There we go. Sainz is being outgunned by Max, says Gian. By Alex, yeah. Yeah, new team, settling in, all part of the process, I'm sure. But yeah, Sainz looks so rapid in testing and then looks so good most of the weekend in Australia, but hasn't really built on that, which is surprising, to be fair. Like I said, says Winston, I think Max is just an absolute machine, dragging what looks like a midfield car all the way up. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it was the things he was doing in that car last year, to be fair. What happened to Carlos? No idea. Just not hooking lap. But what was Sex's times? 24.2, 27.4, 39.8. I mean, look, what I will say, when we look at who gets knocked out and who doesn't, the gaps are so small. I mean, 300ths of a second between Albon and Ocon. That's the difference between Q3 and Q2. So I think the gap was even smaller between Gasly and whoever was 15th, Stroll, in the last session. So slightly wide at one corner, bit of a twitch somewhere. Tiniest things are going to make the difference here. So, it's not exactly a huge gap across the field, is it, either, compared to what we've seen in the past. So our track temperature is higher than yesterday. I believe so. 37.6 at the moment and 26.2 air temperature. So it's close. It's very, very close in the field. So small margins. And that's good. That is good because it means that nobody is safe. You know, I remember, I can't remember the race years ago now. Sebastian Vettel so dominant that he set a lap time, set provisional pole, parked up in the garage and got out, and that was the end of his session because even though there was still time on the clock, he knew he was so confident, he was so far clear. That was funny and kind of a bit of a cool flex, but we want to see people, these drivers pushing hard and having to give it everything, and that one mistake will be punished, and that's the way it should be. I like that. We're watching Alex Albon here. Replay. Just snuck in by a whisker. He was told, and it was just a whisker, 300ths of a second. So, I'm going to end the poll. Let me know in chat. Who do you think is taking pole position? You can pick a team or a driver. I don't mind. On the poll, if it ever updates in the chat, I'm going to have to do a refresh of the stream here. You have Ferrari 56%. Have you said you think Ferrari will take pole position? I'll need to do better than he did in Q2, that is for sure. 30% say McLaren, 9% Red Bull, and 3% Mercedes. 1,000 votes on the poll and 99 likes. Please do drop a like. That'd be massively appreciated. It's free and it helps the channel out massively in the algorithm. So please do drop a like. That'd be amazing if we could get that well over a couple of hundred likes. That'd be great today. So let's see if you can do that one. That'd be epic. And subscribe if you're new as well. Lots to come this season. Thank you to Mr. Lunch Lady, to Hashimi, to Edge, and to Mohammed for subscribing as well. If you have subbed and I haven't caught your name, I apologise, but Streamlabs doesn't always give me all the names, so thank you for your support as always. Like, subs, all the usual YouTuber nonsense. Fill in the blanks has gone with Max Verstappen for pole. Moray said Antonelli for pole. I'd be surprised. You never know. Tofu Taz says Yuki. If we get a Racing Bulls on pole, wow. His story says Piastri for pole. Captain Rex has gone with Lando. Joe has gone with Norris. Max or Piastri says Zach. Racing Bull for pole says Samesh. The Hammer P1 says AJ. Nathan says yours is my favourite channel. Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate your support. Captain says Oscar Orlando. Paula says go Max. I think Mercedes in a rebuild phase of sorts, but Antonelli extremely promising, says Winston. Yeah, I agree. Great work by James as well. Captain Races Lando. Thought sprint positions was Grand Prix starting grid. They changed that, Natalo, was it last year they changed that now? We get qualifying for the sprint, then we have the sprint race. Cars come out apart firme, and then we get qualifying for the Grand Prix, and then much better this way. And then the race, of course, on Sunday. So much better in my opinion anyway. Max P3. Morris says, think a man will be on pole. It's a bold call. Yeah. Anyone know what was meant when Hamilton was told he's in San Diego? I have no idea. No idea. Honestly. Sorry. Sorry, Graham. I haven't got a clue. Just generally. Not just your question, but just generally haven't got a clue. Here we go then. They're queuing at the end of the pit lane for the final 12 minutes of qualifying. Hopefully we're going to get a surprise here. I'd take a Piastri pole, but I'd be very, very happy with a Racing Bulls pole. I'd be very shocked, though, when the chips are down if they pull it off, but I hope that I'm wrong in 12 minutes' time. I think this is between the McLarens and Verstappen. I know, really bold call. Okay. Really, really bold. Here we go then. Verstappen first out on track. Russell has passed him, though, into turn one, because why not? Antonelli out there as well. This is just going to be lots of laps on the board. Who's going to be on used tyres? This will be interesting to see. Hadjar, according to the timing screens, on a used set of tyres. Piastri as well, apparently. Everybody else new. I'll see if that changes on the timing tower. I hate this bit. The bit where we're on track and now we're waiting for Is Russell just going to send it on Verstappen around the outside of turn 1? Does indeed. Give yourself a good preparation lap, I suppose. Yeah, Russell will be first to do a lap then. It's this initial part. And then it all builds up to a big crescendo, which is what we want to see. So just getting this one out of the way now with their warm-up laps. I thought it was cloudy in the background, but it's not. Rain would be interesting right now. It's not going to rain, though. It's hot. It's hot for me. It's warm for anybody else. The wind has picked up, says Albon. You see? I noticed. Guillaume wants some dim sum. Fike or Fake says I subscribe. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. Hamilton, please. K1 button says Goat Messi. K1. I wonder what K1 did. Intrigued. If you know, let me know. Here we go then. Laps to be completed. They're starting now. So Verstappen. So Russell will be first to do a lap. Then it's me, Verstappen, Antonelli, Hadjar, Tsunoda, and Albon will be your first group to do their laps. Verstappen, Bottas, Vettel, Hamilton, and Rosberg your last 5 pole positions. Was 2019? No, it's 2018. No, ignore me. The year that Ricciardo made that move, it was 2018, wasn't it? Into turn 6. Snatched the win from Bottas. 24-1 in the first sector for Verstappen. 31-3 for Russell. 24-2 for Antonelli. Is Russell doing a couple of warm-up laps here, or just made a mistake somewhere? But that is a really poor first sector for him. At the moment, though, I tell you what, Verstappen 24-1, Hadjar and Tsunoda both 24-2s. 7,000s between them in Tsunoda's favour. Racing Bulls, I'm not talking about pole position here, but they've got a chance here for a great result to set them up for tomorrow and some big points potentially. Big points. Yes, they are Tofu Town. They're racing for pole now. They're going for it. That move by Ricciardo in 2018 at turn 6 is one of my favourite moves of modern day F1. I appreciate 2018 was quite a while ago now, but it's still modern day F1. Okay, leave me alone. Here we go then. Verstappen over the line. We'll go quickest on a 130.925. Russell's lap. Oh, Antonelli really wide out the final corner. Goes second on a 31.6, 7 tenths down, 7.5 tenths down on Verstappen. So not great there from Antonelli. Here comes Hadjar now. So what's Hadjar going to do? Goes second on a 31.4, so half a second down in the end. So not as close as they were looking at one point. What's Tsunoda going to do? Third, 31.6. He was fifth in Australia, Tsunoda. Can he do it again? But look at Piastri, purple for him. Norris not matching him. Piastri absolutely flying here for McLaren. If he hooks this lap up and there are no problems, that's a cracking lap from Piastri. 130.703. Here comes Norris now. His sector times 10th down and a couple of tenths down. So if he has a banging third sector, he might be able to do it. But at the moment, not happening. Hamilton goes third, 130.9. Couple of tenths down. Leclerc, will see him over the line next. What can he do in that second Ferrari? We're calling it that this weekend. We still are. He goes fourth on a 131.0. Norris will be next. Does he get anywhere near Piastri? He does. 900ths between us. Our purple final sector. It was a good first final sector actually for Norris in the end. Purple. Second place, a tenth quicker than his teammate. So it's a McLaren front row. 2 tenths back to Verstappen now. So looking good here for McLaren. Still got second runs to go here. Don't forget. So it's Hadjar, Tsunoda, Albon all in. So if Hadjar and Tsunoda on used tyres, they could take on Ferrari here for 4th and 5th as it stands. What can Russell do? That's the big question now. Last one to get his lap in. 32 seconds down at the moment with his current time. I'm sure he'll improve. Does indeed. Splits the Ferraris and goes P5. Wow. Antonelli's lap time deleted. That's not a huge shock. Turn 16. Was that his fastest time? 31.6 it was. Antonelli was really wide out the final corner. So this isn't a massive surprise. It wasn't an epic lap anyway. So not destroyed his day too much. He'll drop down to 10th place, yet to get a lap in then. So how many attempts can he make in Q3? It's usually about 2. Usually 2. So go out, do a lap, come in, change tyres, go again. Sometimes, particularly if you've got a track that's not too rough on the tyres and evolution is quite high, sometimes we'll see teams fuel up for a couple of runs. So you'll do a couple of laps, pit, and then do a couple more. But usually it's just an out lap, a flying lap, and an in lap. Usually. So someone will now prove me wrong and do 3 laps. I suppose Russell is going to do 3 laps, isn't he? It wasn't a flying lap, was it, his first one? It was 32 seconds down. I mean, that's not a flying lap, is it, by a long way? Piastri making a killing again. Piastri, Norris, Verstappen, says Winston, question mark. That's where we're at the moment. Still got a bit of time to go. 1,400 of you here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you're having a good start to your weekend or end to your Saturday, wherever you are in the world. It is Saturday, isn't it? Yeah, it's qualifying show. Of course, it's Saturday. I shall be getting the stream processed, time-stamping it for you all, and then, or for those who are going to watch later, and then I'm going to go and crack on with a few bits for next week, and then chill for the afternoon, I think. No football this weekend, annoyingly, which is a shame. Like real football, not the international nonsense. It looked to me like Russell made a mistake in turns 1 and 3 and abandoned his first attempt, says Fudd. Liam and his car are just an afterthought compared to Max, says Bogan Force. And Winston says it'll be quite the season. I think we're in for quite a good season. I was a little bit concerned, and maybe we're about to find out that is the case, but when McLaren, when it dried out in Australia, McLaren looked rapid, I thought, hang on a minute, we are looking here like I think, didn't Russell say on dominate? I was going to say domination, but didn't Russell say that he thought that the advantage McLaren had was greater than that of Verstappen and Red Bull in 2023? Sky getting excited there about Verstappen and unsafe release. I'm sure they'll be screaming for a penalty. Unless it wasn't Verstappen and it was Verstappen was the victim of the unsafe release, in which case then they won't want a penalty. But I'm sure they'll scream for it anyway. It's tongue in cheek. It's tongue in cheek, firmly. I'm just saying. I want to see a replay of it, but Ted got a bit excited there. So Verstappen. So it's going to be Hadjar on Verstappen, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I mean, Max could have braked. It's qualifying, for goodness sake. They'll not want a penalty then. That's fine. Are you telling me you don't enjoy watching Gibraltar versus San Marino or Poland versus Lithuania? Not in the slightest. I'm just not interested in international football at all. Never really have been. I like my club football. That's that. Three minutes to go, or under 3 minutes to go. 2:45. Just realised the time is slightly ahead for me, actually, so that's okay. Max Verstappen right in the back of Isaac Hadjar here. What do we reckon? Do we reckon fresh set of softs? So Albon's on used tyres again, apparently. So it is fresh softs now for the Racing Bulls. Actually, just very quickly, just to confirm, I've heard Crofty say things like, here comes Hadjar in the Racing Bulls. Are we calling an individual RB Racing Bulls, or are we calling it Racing Bull? Is it Racing Bull singular, Racing Bulls plural, or is it just Racing Bulls across the board? Because that team just loves to confuse us when Toro Rosso was absolutely fine and right there. Here we go then. Max Verstappen. Yeah, I would say Racing Bull. Racing Bull shit. Yeah, there's that as well. No, I would say Racing Bull and then Racing Bulls plural. But there you go. Verstappen, purple, first sector, 23.945. Norris's fastest was a 23.984. Piastri 23.984, Norris 23.954. So in the mix here, Verstappen. See if those tyres can hang on. 23.960. So slightly slower for Norris in the first sector. See Verstappen yellow in the middle sector, 27.3. So not great. A 10th down on Piastri here. What's Norris going to do? He'll be next through there. Or next to keep an eye on. Hadjar 27.2. Quicker than Verstappen in the middle sector by a 10th of a second. But a couple of tenths down in the first sector. So Hadjar's on a good lap here. Just watch Hadjar. Watch Tsunoda. They're your two to keep an eye on that timing screen. Spiker. Good shout. Slad down under. Spiker. That's a flashback, isn't it? So Antonelli only goes 7th on a 31.103. That's it for him. Not epic. Here comes Verstappen kicking up some dust on the exit of the final corner and stays third. 130.817. Here comes Isaac Hadjar, only 7th on a 31.079. That's a surprise. I thought they might be in the mix for Ferrari, but not today, not to be for Hadjar. We'll see what Tsunoda can do. Norris abandons his lap. He's going to P2. I think Oscar Piastri has finally got, unless Lewis Hamilton could surprise us here over the line. Here he goes, stays 4th. Nobody really improving. What an anticlimactic end. Come on, Yuki. Give us some excitement in this one. Piastri, I believe, unless there's a shot coming, has got his first ever proper, real, genuine pole position, which means Sean, more importantly, got a prediction right. Tsunoda's backed off. He was green and he's backed out of it. That's a shame. 24.2 and a 27.2. Probably would have been around Hadjar anyway. So Isaac Hadjar out-qualifies Yuki Tsunoda. Charles Leclerc, is he going to ruin Piastri's day? Leclerc stays 6th. Nobody really did anything in that final run. That was a bit anticlimactic. But Oscar Piastri. I'm just going to wait for Russell, actually, before I start crowding people pole position. You know what he's like. He goes second. Oh, that was close. That was really embarrassing. 800ths of a second. George Russell with a cracking lap to go second place in the Mercedes. I saw the timing screen flicker there. I went, oh no. But Oscar Piastri has got his first proper pole position in Formula One. Sean got a prediction right. Woohoo. But yes, Oscar Piastri on pole for McLaren. 800ths clear of George Russell. A 10th and a half clear of his teammate in third place, Lando Norris. Who was only a couple of hundreds quicker than Verstappen in the end, who was 4th. Hamilton 5th and Leclerc in 6th place there, with Hadjar. I still think a very, very, very good 7th place there for Hadjar. There'll be some that feel a little bit disappointed because they were looking like they were in the mix for a really amazing result, but that's still a fantastic result for Hadjar, out qualifying his teammate and comfortably in the top 10. Antonelli 8th place, well off his teammate down there. 9th place for Yuki Tsunoda and 10th for Alex Albon. And of course, we've already lost Ocon, Hulkenberg, Alonso, Stroll, Sainz, Gasly, Bearman, Doohan, Bortoleto, and Liam Lawson, who, if I'm Red Bull, I'm pulling him out apart firmly and giving him a nice car for racing tomorrow. Great setup for some overtaking, but we'll see. Yes, Piastri on pole. We'll talk a little bit more. We'll chat for a good 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes probably, and you know what I'm like, probably 3 hours. We'll do some reaction, look ahead to tomorrow a little bit. But yeah, if you do disappear, as some tend to once they've seen the result, please do leave a like before you go. 1,600 of you here, 163 likes. Let's see if we can get that over 200. That'd be fantastic before you disappear. And subscribe as well if you're new. Lots to come this weekend. Live tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Obviously, I know I need that as well as the morning. UK time for the race watch along. There'll be a short after that, and then of course Elizabeth will get you a video out on Monday for a post-race video because I'm going to be off for a few days, and then I'll be back on Thursday with the Eddie Jordan, the video that I'm working on. So there we go. Likes and subs and all that business, and thank you to everyone. I'll give a few shout-outs quickly. If it's updated, thank you to Edge, to Mohammed, to Pure, to Creus, and to... That's the way that's written. It's just really throwing me. Is it Beyond Berry? Thank you very much for subscribing. Appreciate the support. Just going to refresh that because that's not working properly. There we go. I'll run through the result in just a second, and we'll do a few other bits as well. But yes, Piastri on pole. What do we reckon then? It is definitely his first pole, isn't it? It's because he's had sprint poles and sprint wins. Thank you to James as well for subscribing. It feels like he's had one before, but that's his first career pole, I believe. So there we go. Piastri. Fastest. I want a refund of my prediction. Norris aborted, so it shouldn't count. Says the Louis there. Yeah. Granny's happy. Granny Annette is happy. I thought you might be. Yeah. What a great way as well to obviously race tomorrow. Very different story. Long race. Difficult on tyres. Never know what's going to happen. But if he can win that tomorrow, what a way to bounce back from what was a disappointing end to a promising weekend in Australia for Oscar Piastri, and might just shut a few people up as well. But yeah, Oscar Piastri, if you're a non-Norris fan, as I'm sure quite a few of you are, then Piastri might be a great hope this year to stop him. So, but yeah, no, I'd love Aussie P to do it. Clean air is king, says Annette. I'm very, very happy. Yeah, so I think he's got a shot at the win tomorrow. Very long season, but to bounce back from that disappointment in Australia with a pole today, good stuff from Oscar Piastri. Very, very good. Craig says Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. I would do it a bit louder than that, but I think my other half is still in bed, so I better not. Get myself into trouble. George of the Russell. Watch out for the top 3. Oh, that's terrible. Oh dear, that is terrible. Is it Sai? That's so poor. Sean writes it down and steals it. I appreciate stuff like that. So that was good. Clean air is king. Absolutely, Annette. Very, very true. We started with Hamilton did with this morning. So there we go. Rory says, delighted he's finally got a pole. Russell came so close out of nowhere. Yeah, I was crowning Piastri pole position, and then I saw the timing screens flicker as Russell clearly made a big jump, and I was like, oh no. And it was just shy. Fike wants to know, can Hamilton win? First point, 2, nearly 3 tenths between the top 5, so it's close. He managed his tyres well in the sprint, but he had that clear air that Annette's mentioned there. So being in traffic, that might make it difficult. I mean, he can. It's Lewis Hamilton. He can. But I think this one's between Piastri, probably Norris and Verstappen. You could throw Russell in there too, of course, because he's second. Well, Russell's race pace towards the end of the sprint was pretty good, so maybe he's one to keep an eye on in the latter stages of tomorrow. Maybe he will. I mean, if he gets a good start, gets ahead of Piastri and leads, then he's got that clean air. So I think you're looking at probably a battle between those 4. But then if you're throwing in the top 4, let's throw Hamilton as well. Ferrari might be better on race pace. They had good race pace today in the sprint, so hopefully we can have a good 5 or 6 way fight tomorrow, and then Isaac Hadjar comes through and nicks it right at the end. There you go. Russell could win tomorrow as a gambler. Yep, he could. He's right up there. Oscar on pole. Anushka's happy. Good to see. Hey, Anushka, hope you well. Stroll for the win, says Ron. The thing is, Ron, and I'm sure you'll agree, Stroll's down in 14th. If he wins tomorrow, we've had a bloody brilliant race and some chaos. So I'm up for a Stroll win. You never know. 5th place ain't bad at all. Definitely not. Yes, Q3 is over. We'll run through the times, and then I'll take some of get your questions ready, and I'll do a few questions for a few minutes, and then we'll wrap up. But for the sake of the timestamp, I'm going to pause and have a quick slug, which means you get to listen to me swallowing squash. It looks really weak, but it's actually a bit stronger than it looks. Anyway. Oscar Piastri is on pole position for the 2025 Chinese Grand Prix. His first career pole, unless Sean has forgotten something amazing. I'm sure somebody in chat would have said by now if I had, although you never know. But yes, pole position for Oscar Piastri. 8 tenths clear of George Russell, who had a great lap right at the end. Almost nicked it, but not quite quick enough. With Lando Norris in 3rd place, a 10.5 off his teammates. 4th place was Max Verstappen, 130.8. Nearly 2 tenths off, but yeah, not far off really. Maybe better on race pace tomorrow. Just to let you know, as our purple sectors, Verstappen purple sector 1, 23.9, and Piastri purple sector 2 and 3, 27.1 and 39.4 respectively. Lewis Hamilton, if you are tuning in and you haven't seen it yet, I'll give you a second for a spoiler alert. And I guess by saying spoiler alert, I've just spoiled it anyway. So there you go. Who won the sprint this morning on a 130.9 is in 5th place. That was well done, Sean. Charles Leclerc 6th on a 131.0. 4 tenths off the fastest time and about a tenth of his teammate there, pretty much. Isaac Hadjar 7th place, out qualifying Yuki Tsunoda. Great effort there. Racing Bulls looking rapid this weekend. 31.0 for him. Antonelli only in 8th place, well off his teammate, but 4 tenths off the fastest time overall. Had a lap time deleted early doors, but it wasn't a great lap anyway, so won't have changed too much there for him. Yuki Tsunoda 9th place, so 2 RBs or 2 Racing Bulls in the top 10, whatever. Alex Albon in 10th place, a second off the pace. Didn't have a fresh set of tyres, though, as far as I understand it, for that final session. Certainly not his final run, so maybe part of it there, but still not far off Tsunoda in 9th. Esteban Ocon was 11th and out in Q2, with Nico Hulkenberg 12th and Fernando Alonso 13th, Lance Stroll 14th, and Carlos Sainz 15th. Ocon actually only about, I think, 3, 4, 5 hundredths or something like that off a place in the top 10, so it's very close out there. Pierre Gasly, first one out in Q1, 16th place for him, 17th for Ollie Bearman, 18th for Jack Doohan, 19th for Gabriel Bortoleto, and you've probably already worked it out because it's on the timing tower, but also I've not mentioned him yet. Liam Lawson, really disappointing again, down in 20th place in that Red Bull. So that is your result from qualifying. Isaac Hadjar is under investigation for that unsafe release. Unless I have missed something in the past, that tends to be a reprimand if you get found guilty of that one by the stewards in qualifying. I'd be surprised if it's any more than that, but we'll see what they decide, if anything at all. Stewards also, no further investigation for Verstappen and Alonso on failing to follow the maximum delta time, and I believe no further action on everybody else as well. So there we go. So it's just Hadjar. Keep an eye out for that one on social media later. But that is your result, not necessarily your starting grid. There could be some decisions taken there. I mean, if you're Red Bull tomorrow, do you take Lawson off the grid, get him out of Parc Ferme, and give him a car that's set up for overtaking? I think I probably would. He showed in the sprint this morning that he can get the overtakes done. So if he got to 14th in the sprint from last full race, he could be in the points. So that would be something. So that's my take on that. I keep getting messages from merch from Mercedes for some reason. Every time they do anything, like Russell wins, have some merch. Antonelli qualifies 8th, have some merch. Russell breaks wind on the bus, have some merch. It's weird. I guess they got to sell them, that's for sure. Yeah. So get your questions in then. We'll do 10 or 15 minutes of questions, and then we'll wrap it up there. I'm don't forget back tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. as well for the race watch along. So looking forward to that. Hadjar got pole there, by the way. I think I'm mad. He didn't. He was never going to. But we're allowed to dream. We are allowed to dream. Craig says replace Lawson with Daniel Ricciardo. I'll be honest, Craig, without sounding too brutal, I'd replace him with literally anybody but Daniel Ricciardo. That's harsh. Anybody but is really harsh. You know, Ricciardo Rosset. You know, that'd be ridiculous. But yeah, let's not get back into the Daniel Ricciardo would do a better job argument, because he didn't, did he? In the Alpha Tauri Racing Toro Bulls Rosso or whatever they're calling it. So yeah. I know he's missed, but let's not. Does Red Bull have the pace to win tomorrow, says Anushka? It's a good question. Very good question. So, in the sprint, Verstappen looked really pacey early on, but burnt through his tyres quite quickly. So, ended up falling back into the clutches of Piastri, and then not actually finished too far up the road from Russell. So, it's all going to come down to tyres tomorrow and who can manage those the best. Hamilton was really strong this morning managing those with that clear air. So if Piastri or Russell, whoever gets off the line best tomorrow, has that clear air early doors, they're going to be the very, very early favourites to win that one. But I think Red Bull, at the hands of Max Verstappen, they have the pace to pretty much win any race, don't they? Let's be honest. So he'll be in the mix. He will be a contender, but I fancy a McLaren tomorrow for this one, for sure. Winston says the Red Bull car is quite a bit worse than it seems. It just happens that Max is Max. That's Sean analysis. Max is Max. You know, that's Sean analysis. That is. Annette says you could hear me scream from Australia. I did. Was that you? Was that you? I thought I heard somebody screaming. Good stuff for Oscar Piastri. Like I said as well, great way to bounce back from the disappointment of, and with the sprint result this morning, of course, but the disappointment of Australia in the end. So pretty happy for Oscar Piastri there. Very, very happy. What do you think about Max's driving today in the sprint? So I should mute Sky. That's turning it up, Sean. Do you want to mute it or not? There you go. That was from Sarvesh. I don't think there's any problem with Max's driving also in the sprint. I thought it was all right. Tyre management again is going to be key, but yeah, no issues there. Should they fire Marco before Lawson? He hadn't been able to prepare a junior for Red Bull since 2013. Max wasn't Red Bull junior before he joined Toro Rosso, says Moray. Marco is towards the end of his career, isn't he? Let's be honest. But I'll always defend him to a point, because when you look at that field, there's a lot of Red Bull juniors in it. And we've had a lot of very, very good Red Bull juniors over the years. So he has got it right. He's just not, I say, not maybe managed them correctly once they get to F1. So like chucking Lawson in that car, chucking Gasly in the car at short notice, Albon as well, you know. So maybe there's an argument there, but I think Marco's probably got that job till he doesn't want it anymore, to be honest. So. And Siggy says Marco will probably burn down the Red Bull hospitality area if they fire him anyway. So there you go. We'll have to see Mercedes car next year. Doubt George is going anywhere though. That's in response to a question from somebody. David, who says, will Max go to the Mercedes team? That's definitely a more in-depth conversation for another day. But I don't think it's as far-fetched as some seem to think it is. Because the early rumours are very much like they were in 2013, ahead of the 2014 regulations. The rumours are that Mercedes have pretty much nailed it with next year's power unit. So that could be the place to be. George Russell's contract is up at the end of this season. Verstappen, big question marks over what Red Bull powertrains could do next year with Ford. A whole new thing. So big unknowns there. The car clearly isn't in a great place at the moment, although Verstappen's still pulling results out with it. So I don't think it's completely impossible. And if I were Max Verstappen, I'd be seriously considering it if so many caveats, but if that engine really is as good as people think it's going to be. So yeah, it's not impossible. I know Zach Brown's stirring the pot. Although I've got to say, Zach Brown, you know how Christian Horner and Toto Wolff are always quite snappy, and Horner seems to always like to have a little dig at Christian Horner, at Toto Wolff. I've kind of noticed that Zach Brown is kind of doing the same, but to Horner. Like a very one-sided rivalry there almost. Like Zach Brown keeps making these little snide comments, and Christian Horner's like, whatever. And it's kind of, it's just weird. I don't know why the desperation is there for a bite, but it is. Fastest car doesn't mean that the driver will win, says Yashan. Russell to where then, says Matt? Probably to Red Bull. I could see some sort of swap there, honestly, Matt. I could see a swap there. I mean, if you're Red Bull and Verstappen leaves you, you're going to have to go for the best available driver. And given the way they've managed some of their juniors, that's not going to be a Hadjar or a Lindblad at that stage, is it? So probably Russell would go to Red Bull. Yeah, but I'm not saying it will happen. I just don't think people that are dismissing it. Just look at the bigger picture of 2026, because that's where everyone's looking now. So it'd be a big moment. It really, really would. Yes, Jamie, quali's done, mate. Piastri on pole, Russell second, Norris in third place. So that's that one done. That's all the action for today done. Race tomorrow now, which is the bit we're all looking forward to, I'm sure. Tsunoda consecutive Q3s in the Racing Bull, says Daniel. Absolutely. And of course, Liam Lawson consecutive Q1 exits. In fact, Was he 20th this morning? He was, wasn't he, for the sprint? So twice this weekend he's been last. Yeah. Zach Brown should find a job in WWE instead. Yeah. Going to be a crazy race, says Bum Bum. Hopefully, we want a crazy race, or just like an exciting race, not even crazy, but yeah, that'd be good. I don't see Russell staying at Mercedes, says Moray. Second half of the comment, probably end up at Alpine. Russell. So Russell. All right, Moray, I'll throw it back at you. Russell and Gasly at Alpine, or Russell and Colapinto at Alpine with Gasly going somewhere else. Russell and Gasly would be quite a good lineup, I think, for Alpine. That'd be pretty decent. Disappointed for Hamilton with the 5th position after winning the sprint, says Parwin. No, I'm not. I after it looks like a bit of a come down, doesn't it, after winning the sprint? But 5th place, it's an improvement on last weekend. The car looks much better. He seems to be more comfortable in it. So I think there are lots of positives to take. So I won't be disappointed. I think that's still a good result for Hamilton. Out-qualified his teammate as well, of course. So Russell's Cadillac, probably. I think Red Bull will buy Norris out of his contract. McLaren will replace Norris with Albon, and Yuki will go to Williams, says Moray. I want to live in Moray's world. That sounds like a lot of fun. What do you think of Ferrari's result? Did the other guys improve, or Ferrari did something wrong? I don't think Ferrari did anything wrong. I just think... Again, like as I just said, that's an improvement on Australia. Yes, it's down from the sprint, but this is proper quali. Things are always a bit different. Maybe there's been a tweak somewhere. It's a good point. Maybe there has been a tweak somewhere. Cars came out apart firmly, didn't they, after sprint race? So maybe McLaren have tweaked something and found something, or Ferrari have tried something and it's not worked. But you have to look at the times as well. There's not a huge gap between the top 6, really, in F1 speak anyway. 0.4 of a second. We've seen in more recent years that's the gap between first and second, haven't we? So to cover the top 6, that's not bad. So I don't think 5th and 6th on paper might look a bit disappointing, but I don't think that's anything that's going to be too concerning for Ferrari. He says, as a Ferrari fan, and trying not to be too biased about it and not panic. But there you go. It'll be so much fun to see Max being Kimi's mentor. So much talent of those two, says Wemdiff. What's that? So what? I don't know why it came into my head, but I was just for some reason going to mention Atom 4, but then I realised this is an F1 stream and maybe we shouldn't be talking about video games. I don't know what. So I'll read something in my head and then go somewhere else. Probably something behind that, but anyway, I think McLaren screwed up SQ3, says Annette. That's a good point as well. Those. Clearly, the pace that we saw from McLaren in qualifying, in sprint qualifying, isn't what was not really representative. So we've just seen what they can do. Crazy Ninja says, "How's your sleep schedule this weekend?" It's all right. I was saying earlier, I don't tend to go to sleep till about 2 a.m. anyway. And then I'm usually up about 8. So getting up at 5 isn't terrible, really. I've spent much of my life living off about 4 hours sleep, which is probably why I look so horrific all the time. But there you go. Why I'm always really mardy. But it's just I've always been like that, so I'm fine with that. It's better than Australia, but I'd rather this than hanging around all day for afternoon race or whatever. If it wasn't for the purple sector, George would have been P1. He jump scared me. Says you too. Same. Where it's interesting though, isn't it? Because you've got Verstappen purple first sector, Piastri second and third sector. Russell just did 3 really clean, quick, consistent sectors and ended up P2. So it's good stuff from George. That credit where it's due. I'm not his biggest fan, but credit where it's due. I love how I'm just going to lean into that this year. After the comments made in testing from Stuart, I think it was, brought it up. Like my anti-British agenda. I'm just going to lean into it this year and just be really spiteful about everything. I'm not really. Yes, it is over Tony for today. Piastri pole, Russell second, Norris third. Paradox says Max to Merc looks possible. I agree. Maybe not probable, but it's certainly possible. We already seen a glimpse of the Ferrari race pace today. Hopefully they will not make mistakes on strategists all over again. Says Wars. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Ferrari could be a second lap quicker than anybody else, and they'll still find a way to throw it away. What did I say? I said it in a preview or in a video about probably predictions one, about how Ferrari love to Dick Dastardly their way out of a win. They just have this way of doing it, don't they? So there you go. I'm out of the loop, says Matt. Is there going to be an 11th team on the grid soon? Yes, there is, Matt. We've got Cadillac joining F1 in 2026. They'll be the 11th team. That was the Andretti bid that then became Cadillac through General Motors. They're going to be on the grid next year. Audi take over Sauber as well, so it's still 11 teams. We've got Audi coming in too, as well as Cadillac, and then we've got Ford teaming up with Red Bull powertrains on I think on the electrical side of things largely. They're going to be helping them with that power unit next year. So some new manufacturers going in. Of course, we lose Renault. If you're a Renault fan, don't worry, they'll be back. Renault and Honda do this. They come back, get what they want out of the sport, then bog off, then come back, get what they want out of the sport, bog off, and then come back. That's what they do. So that's why I'll always make the point that if I'm the FIA or FOM, I'm making sure that Ferrari and Mercedes are on board with things over Honda and Renault in particular, because they just come and go all the time. Ferrari are never constant in Formula One, and Mercedes, all right, they left motorsport after the Le Mans disaster, which you can completely understand, but then they came back as an engine supplier and have been in F1 ever since. So they're the two you need to keep on side with regulations. Everyone else will come and go as they please. You're not going to please everybody. It won't be long before we hear BMW or something coming back, or an equivalent in the coming years, and then somebody else will bog off, and then somebody else will come back, and it's just the way it goes. So there you two. There you go. Tony says Kimi is nothing more than an F1 hype job. Cool. That's your opinion. I'm not going to start writing off or bigging up rookies based on 2 race weekends, but each to their own. As you say, Tony, if people think he's the next star, that's their opinion, and that's your view, mate. I don't necessarily agree, but I do think it was a year too soon for him. I think another year in F2 would have done him the world of good, but I still think he's there out of necessity rather than necessarily Toto's desperation to get him in the sport, if that makes sense. Probably not. Yuki's out to prove RB made a mistake, or Red Bull made a mistake, so Chivalry is not dead. He certainly nailed it this first 2 weekends in quali, hasn't he? So what went wrong in What went wrong in the race for him in Australia? Remind me, why did he drop down to 12th suddenly? Late on, because he was 5th in quali, wasn't he? Tsunoda. And then was all right in the race, and then something kind of... Let me know. I've slept since last week, you see. I will answer Tony on this. Because I've got to make the point. It says, I didn't exactly see him dominating the lower series, but hey, you know more than I do. I don't know if he's responding to somebody else there. If he's responding to me, Tony, I'm not claiming I know more than you. I'm just giving my opinion. But yes, I'm mentioning him, all right. Leave me alone. Stoffel Van Dorn won pretty much everything before he got to F1 and was pretty disappointed when he got to F1. So I wouldn't put too much weight behind what drivers did or didn't do in junior formula when you consider that Max Verstappen basically did know junior formula and is a 4-time world champion. So I don't look at junior formula and say, well, you know, Antonelli didn't do this, Lawson didn't do that, Hadjar didn't do this, because who cares? That's junior categories. It's great to see how good they are wheel to wheel, but I'm not bothered about who wins championships down there. You know, Stoffel Van Dorn won it all and was pretty disappointing. So but anyway, let's not get into that. That's each their own on opinions. I'm not hyping him up, and I'm not going to tear him down, but this is the internet, and I imagine others will go to the 2 extremes rather than maybe looking at and this is aimed at Tony, just the internet in general, looking at objectively. We've had 2 races. Let's not write drivers off after 2 races, and let's not call them future world champions after 2 races, because that's just ridiculous. In my opinion. I think it was a safety car in the Inters transition. Yeah, Murray could have been a safety car, yes. I'm just checking. Bad strategy, yeah. See if anyone else has backed that up. But yeah, that rings a bell, actually, on Tsunoda. Yeah. And that says Nico Hulkenberg won everything too. Jolyon Palmer was a GP2 champion. God, Jolyon Palmer. Goodness me. Yeah, thank you for that, Maury. I think it was, now you've said it, I think safety car, it was supposed to be a safety car, wasn't it, for Tsunoda and getting caught out by that. But yeah, no, I think Tsunoda's had a good start to the season, very good start to the season. Hadjar as well, he's talking to Sky at the minute. He impressed me last year at times. He wasn't perfect for him. But one thing I will say as well, and somebody else picked up on this, I think, last week in the chat, and then I'll end the stream, but I think Hadjar seems to have, and we've not really seen a reason for him to get angry yet, but he seems to be a bit calmer over team radio. And I wonder if he's just worked on that a little bit over the winter, just chilled out a bit. So, because I was a bit like Tsunoda and Hadjar having a bad day, you wouldn't want to be racing bulls, would you, over the radio? So, any more questions? I'll tell you what then, very quickly, we'll wrap it up after this then. One surname, who are you going with tomorrow for the win? Let me know in chat. There you go. Who's winning the race? I will go with, I said Norris on Thursday, so I suppose I have to stick with that. But I want Piastri to win, so I'll say Piastri. And then I'll go with, no, I'll just say Piastri for the win. I was going to say, if we're going with a bold call, then we could go with someone like a Leclerc from 6th coming through, but it doesn't seem that bold. So I'll go Piastri for the win. There you go. That's what I'm going with. Yuki Tsunoda chatting to Sky now. We like Yuki. We like Yuki. Hans has said Hamilton for the win. Mick says Oscar Piastri. Jabbervol says Piastri, or Pastry specifically. And Oscar says Piastri. Matt says Piastri. His story says Piastri. Annette's gone with Piastri. Is that bias, Annette? Terrible. Michael says Norris. Andre says hopefully ham and cheese. Ooh, ham and cheese. Lovely. Bum Bum says Hadjar is going to be the new Magnussen in terms of elbows out, hopefully. I'm going to miss K-Mag this year. Piastri to win and Hulkenberg points, says Pascal. 12th to points, not impossible. I'll give you that. And actually, Sauber's rate, last year, sometimes they put in a really great quali, or you'll know this, Pascal, then they fall away in the race. They looked all right last weekend. Not as bad as last season is what I'm saying. So there you go. Not the Manchester United I recognise. Tell me about it. Says Lando Norris. Corn says I said Piastri before the weekend. I went Piastri pole and Norris wins. So I was hedging my bets a bit. Wemdiff says Oscar Piastri logically. Max emotionally. I like the honesty there. Can Hamilton win, says Durov? Yes, he absolutely can from 5th. But I think Piastri and Co probably the favourites. McLaren looking good as well. So Lando will party like crazy tonight, says Gian. Moray's gone with Fangio for the win. That'd be an achievement. Mohammed says Sainz. That's the race I want to see. Vice Queen says Piastri, Verstappen, Piastri and Hamilton for Mario as a podium. And that admits to Aussie bias. There you go. Eddie says Lando. It'll be a win for Sainz if he hits points, says Matt. Absolutely. Williams will get a podium. Albon and Sainz, says Mohammed. Russell for the win. Max 2nd. Norris 3rd, says Paradox. Sounds like a fun race. Norris, Lawson for the win? Question mark. Sunrise says Lawson for the win? Question mark. Maybe. If everyone else retires. 20th, that's going to be tough from 20th to get to the points. So yeah, I know it's a tongue-in-cheek question. Norris and Max to take each other out, says Hans. And 2 more. Manny says Pastry. I'm just going to stop reading Tony because I'm not sure Tony's being serious or just trying to troll. But there you go. I'm not going to go Tony, but I can't be bothered with the arguments this morning. Site should become a strategy, says Mohammed. When is Hadjar jumping in the Red Bull? And I want one more prediction. I can't find it. I saw it and it was a good one and it's gone. No, can't find it. Yeah, there we go then. We'll leave it there. So just to confirm, Piastri on pole for the Australian Grand Prix. Wake up, Sean. We're in China. Chinese Grand Prix. Russell 2nd, Norris 3rd, Verstappen 4th, Hamilton 5th, Leclerc 6th, Hadjar 7th, Antonelli 8th, Tsunoda 9th, and Alex Albon is your top 10 for this one. That is it then for this stream. I will be back tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. GMT. That's UK time. Clocks, by the way, don't change in the UK till next weekend, so don't worry. Unless that's changed. They've changed their mind. I don't know, but that's the way it is. 6:30 a.m. tomorrow, UK time for the race watch along. And then, of course, once again, there'll be a little something out after the stream, assuming something happens that's worth covering in that, or at least clipping up something from the stream that's worth the reaction. Elizabeth will be with you on Monday for a post-race weekend video because I'm having a few days off for my birthday. And then I'll be back with a video on Thursday. So lots to come between now and the end of next week. And then, of course, it's on to a triple header, first of the season, where we've got what do we got? Japan, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, so lots of action to come. So please do drop a like before you go. Nearly 250 likes, let's get that over that. We should surely do that. 249, one more like and we'll do it. And please do subscribe as well if you are new. Like I say, loads to come. So thank you to Neto, to Ricky, to Fran, to Andre, to James as well for subscribing. Appreciate your support. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.